The service department. The first thing to do is add a work order. So there's two types of work orders. There's an external and an internal. An external work order is when a customer walks in and wants his car fixed. An internal work order is for a vehicle that is owned by the company. So let's do an internal work order first. Let's select the Cadillac. And we now have a work order. Now you notice the work order is prefixed by I dash, and that's to indicate that this is an internal work order. Now let's create an external work order. We click on Add Work Order, and we click on Add External Work Order. And it brings down a list of customers. So instead of typing one in, let's just pick an existing one, Mike Jones. And it automatically fills in all of the information. For example, if he wants to be called with an estimate over $200, we can put that in, call when ready, save old parts, etc. So let's go to the next screen, and we'll select one of his vehicles. He could have multiple vehicles, and in this case we only have one. So we can put in the mileage and the license at this time, and then we hit the red X to create a work order. And we have a work order. And now this work order does not have an I preceding it because this is an external work order. Now that we've created two work orders, let's open one of them up by going to Work Order Select and clicking on Open. You notice you could accomplish this also by clicking F1. So let's open the 1007, which is the external work order, and click OK. And now let's add a problem to this thing. For example, needs brakes, and then let's add a part here, 11111, and brake shoes. And let's put in a unit cost of $34. And let's add labor. And we'll call it replacing the brakes. Add a labor rate, which is from the setup of $75. And we'll use 1 hour. And we're done with this job for now. So let's go to General. Click on Edit and Complete. Update, and we have completed the work order. Now, as you can see, we now have a total parts of $34, a total labor of $75. It added $2.67 for taxes, and we have a total of $111.67. We can now print the work order. And as you can see, the work order is divided by jobs. Job 1, the problem is needs brakes, and we have one set of brake shoes for $34, and the total parts of $34. We have the labor replacing the brakes for $75, so the total parts and labor is $109. And it also has a disclaimer here at the bottom and a total. We could also have added on this work order a sublet job, recommended services, and we could also print a service agreement. Normally you would print this for the customer at the time when he comes in to leave the car. Now let's take in the payment by clicking on the Payment tab. We click Add New. As you can see, there's a balance of $11.67. We click on the payment method. How did they pay? They paid by cash, for example. And click Update. And print a receipt. And we're now done with this work order. Estimate. Click on Estimates on the menu bar, and then click on Add Estimates or F9. Now we could create a new client, but in this case let's take the client that is already in the system and click the Next button and select the vehicle for the client. He only has one, and then click on the red X to create the estimate. Now we would normally add problems, parts, labor, etc. But in this case, let's not. When you're ready for creating a work order from this estimate, just click Edit and click Open Work Order, and the estimate will be turned into a work order. To add an appointment, click on Appointments on the menu bar and click Add, or F11 will do the same thing. And we can type in a customer name, phone number, etc., create a new client, or we can select a client that's already in the system, and then we can select the vehicle for that client, and we select the date that we want this appointment for, and the time, let's say 11/11, and do an update, and it's finished. From the appointment screen, you can also create estimates and create work orders. You can also show the grid, which gives you a list of all the appointments. You can select a specific date, or you can select all dates. Inventory update. Click on Inventory Update on the menu bar, and you can see on the left side you have a list of major categories on the vehicle. So let's click on brake, and then click on disc brakes, and you can see there's two parts in for the disc brakes. Now these parts can be selected when you do the work order and add parts to the vehicle, and the quantity then will be adjusted for how many parts you took out. You can also add parts or adjust the quantity on hand. Let's go to Setup. This is where you set up your defaults. For example, the labor rate is $75. Shop supplies, let's say 5%. And if we click this checkbox, then this would be a flat rate. But right now it would be a percentage. And we can say it's a percentage of the parts, percentage of labor, and percentage of subletting. You can also have VPN waste, and again, if you click the checkbox, it's a flat rate, otherwise it's a percentage. Gas, oil, and grease, you can also set up minimum for shop supplies, EPA, waste, and gas, oil, and grease in the event you chose percentage for all of these. Under setup, you can also set up discounts, labor type, labor description, labor rates, and so on. Under reports, you also have profit loss, employee time reports, and labels for a mailing campaign. Now, these labels can also create export files such as Excel files or email files.